guys, and welcome back to my channel. Today we're going to be doing something a teensy bit different, still in the bracelet sort of idea, but instead of knotting, we're going to be doing a Kumihimo bracelet. So Kumihimo is a bracelet that instead of being knotted is woven, and it's generally using a disc like this. There are just like square plates and stuff that you can get also. This just came in with the package of string I bought for friendship bracelets recently, so it seemed like a perfect time to do a tutorial on it. Okay, so to do this, you are going to need, first things first, some colored string. As usual, I'm going to use embroidery floss, but something like wool should work fine if that's all you have to get your hot little hands on. You will also need a wheel or plate for Kumihimo. This came in the package of string I recently got from Walmart for friendship bracelets. It's not really anything special. I have seen them on their own, but if you can't get a hold of them or you're not willing to spend money on a foam disc, you can also make them out of cardboard, or I actually used a yogurt lid for this one. And if you don't know what Kumihimo bracelets are, they are essentially a woven bracelet instead of knotted. So here you can see it looks kind of like a rope, and this one has little cupcakes on it. And if you have a very keen eye, you may have spotted this in a couple of the videos, and this one is little cherry blossoms. But of course, that is not all you will need. We are working with string, so you will also need a pair of scissors. So jumping into this, the first thing I'm going to tell you is you want to find yourself a pattern that has less strings than spaces on your disc. For the purpose of this video, we are going to use a pattern from friendship-bracelets.net, and I will link it in the description below, and it is pattern K9606. And if you haven't seen a Kumihimo pattern before, it shows in a wheel, and each rectangle in that wheel is a string color. So I will put a video, or a picture rather, on the screen here so you guys can see what I'm talking about. And you'll see it's divided up into sections. So if you look at the very top, we have a section and half of it is white, half of it is blue. So that means one white string, one blue string. And then the next section to the right of that is two white strings. The next section is a light blue and a white, and so on and so forth. So for this particular craft, I generally cut my string to about my elbow, from my fingers to my elbow, and I add maybe 1 or 2 inches just to be safe. But generally speaking, I find I don't really need that much. So I'm gonna go ahead and cut my strings, and I will meet you guys back here when we're ready to set up the wheel. Okay, so I have cut all my strings, which was 8 dark blue strings, 11 white strings, and 1 light blue string. And I'm going to go ahead and we're just going to tie this in a overhand knot here. There we go, just like that. And we're going to stick that down the whole of our loop. Now we're going to look at our pattern, and if we look at the section at the very center, at the very top, like I said before, half the section is white, half of it is blue. So looking at our number 1 slot here, or the top slot on your plate, if your plate isn't numbered, we're going to put our white string here, and then our dark blue string in the spot next to it, just like that. Now you want to leave at least 1 space here. If you have space to do more, but at least 1 space in between each section. So we're going to skip that notch, and our next section is 2 white strings. So we're going to go ahead and slip 2 white strings in there. There we go. Then skip 1 again, and our next section is the light blue and the white. So light blue and a white. There we go. And then the next section is a white and a dark blue. Now I always set up my loom with just one space, and then if I have extra at the end, I'll adjust my strings around until I have more spaces, if more spaces are available. And then the next section is a white and a dark blue again. And we're just gonna keep going around the circle, reading it like this. And the next section is white and dark blue. Like that. And then we have two dark blues. And then two whites. And then a dark blue and a white. There we are. And then a white and a dark blue. And that is our full pattern. So to start weaving your bracelet, the phrase that I learned was to remember how to do these is, if it's left up to me, it's right down to fun. However, I always think of, if it's left up to me, it's right down to business, because I don't know, it reminds me of Mulan, like, let's get down to business. So that's what I'm gonna say for the course of this video. So this is the top of our pattern and this section is the bottom of our pattern. So what we're going to do is we're going to go across from our number one, so our top position, to our very bottom position, which is this dark blue and white right before the double dark blue. So we're going to take the left string of this duo and we're going to go, if it's left up to me, so the left is moving up, and we're going to put it in the slot to the left of our number one section. Then it's right down to business. So we're going to take the rightmost of this trio here now, and we're going to move it to the right of our bottom section. And now we've completed the first fold, so we're going to turn our wheel to our next section. So now we have two whites and two blues. So again, we're going to take the leftmost string of the bottom section. So this is technically our second section in our pattern if we're working clockwise, and we're going to go straight across from it, and it's two dark blues. So we're going to take the leftmost string, and if it's left up to us, putting it in the leftmost side of this second section, then it's right down to business. Taking the rightmost string from our second section and bringing it down to the right hand side of that blue string. And then we're gonna rotate. So this is our third section. We're gonna go straight across to our two whites, and we're going to take the leftmost string, because if it's left up to us, we're gonna snap it into the left hand side of that section. Then it's right down to business, and we're going to take the rightmost string and we're going to bring it down to the right hand side to make this loner string a duo again. And then we're going to rotate. And here we are. So if it's left up to us, we're going to take this left hand string and move it up to the left-hand side of our section. Then it's right down to business. So we want to take our rightmost string and move it across to make our loner string a duo. So it's right to right, left to left. You should never cross those. So you should never be lifting a left-hand side string and putting it on the right-hand side. It should always be left to the left of the section, right to the right of the section. So twisting again, we're going to take our leftmost string and it's left up to us. It's right down to business. Now we have to be careful here because the two sections are right up against each other. So we know that a section is 2. So here was our section because we just moved the left one up, right? So we took our string from here, we moved it to the left of our section. A section is 2 strings, so it must be these 2 strings. So this blue one here, the rightmost of that section, is going to go right down to business to the right-hand side of our loner string. And we're going to twist and continue that pattern. So left up to us, then it's right down to business. And here we are, left up to us, then it's right down to business. Now for me, when I started making these, I found it easiest if I had to pause or put it down while I was working to leave one of the sections in thirds. So I would go left up to me and I would leave it like that. So I had a loner string and a set of 3 where I knew, okay, I just have to bring right down. Once I made them a couple times, you can just kind of tell which strings were folded last when you look at the center. But I would suggest if you have to pause and you're just beginning, that's what you do. You leave a section of 3 and then come back, you know exactly what string you need to move to where. So we'll right down to business here and twist. It's right up to, or left up to me. Then it's right down to business. And twist. If it's left up to me, then it's right down to business. And twist. Yep. If it's left up to me, then it's right down to business. And twist. If it's left up to me, then it's right down to business. And you'll keep doing this for the entire length of your bracelet. I generally do plus a little bit because I just tie the whole thing around my wrist. I suppose you could do braids and then a knot and do like ties sort of on it. But I just tie mine on like this, so the whole thing, because it's basically a rope, I just tie the whole thing on like that. All right, guys, I'm gonna work on this a little bit, and I will be back when there's enough out the bottom here to show you guys what it's looking like. Okay. So after you've done a few passes, you should see your pattern start to come out the middle of your wheel. I've gone ahead and done the length of the bracelet that I want, and at this point I'm going to kind of pinch the end here so it doesn't unweave on me, and I'm gonna pop all the strings out of the wheel. Once you've taken all the strings out of the wheel, you can go ahead and take that off completely. And to finish, you're just going to tie this in an overhand knot. just like we did at the start. And then you can trim your ends. Stretch it out a little bit. And there you have it, your finished Kumihimo bracelet. If you like this video, give it a like and subscribe if you haven't already. If you want to see more Kumihimo patterns, also let me know. Alright guys, until next time, bye.